I cannot begin to tell you how long we have waited to review these two trucks. And the reason for that is simple, because today on the Fast Lane truck, we have two of the newest and potentially most significant trucks you can buy. This is the brand new 2015 Ford F-150, and under the hood, a 2.7 liter turbocharged engine. And over here, we have waited 2 years to get our hands on this pickup. It's the Ram 1500 with, you guessed it, the EcoDiesel. And coming up next, we are going to give these bad boys a full TFL truck review. So that is coming up right now. Let's cut to the chase. Both of these trucks are about fuel efficiency, and in that regard, the Ram wins easily with a 22 combined MPG and a 27 MPG on the highway. The Ford comes in at 20 combined and 23 on the highway, a full 4 MPG less than the Ram. Style-wise, both of these trucks are butch, they're both manly, and let's face it, they're pumped up with enough testosterone to make a horny hippo happy. In fact, it really depends on whether you like Rams or whether you like Fords. Personally, I think seeing either of these two in your rearview mirror is going to make you want to get out of the way. Behold, it's turbo versus turbo. EcoBoost versus EcoDiesel. The difference being that here you have a petroleum turbocharged engine and here you have a diesel turbocharged engine. This 3-liter turbo diesel is currently the only diesel you can get in a full-size truck. In this case, it's made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and Ram calls it an EcoDiesel. It puts out 240 horsepower and 420 pound-foot of torque because that's what diesels are known for. And of course, another big difference is that we've got an 8-speed transmission in this truck, whereas in the Ford we only have a 6-speed. All right, so I'm gonna brake torque it a little bit, which means I'm gonna put my left foot on the brake and bring up the boost and bring up the RPMs to see if I can get just a little bit more power, a little bit more speed out of it. There we go. Oh, wheel spin. Traction control kicked in. And there we have it, 60 right there. Check it out. 10.56, 10.56. So we have a time with the EcoDiesel. Let's see how the EcoBoost does in comparison. I suspect it's going to be a much different experience because, let's face it, diesels are built for torque. They're built to pull mighty big trailers, and the power band is a little bit different. As you could tell in this one, they just kept flicking in gears. This 2.7 liter EcoBoost petroleum engine is the smallest displacement engine you can get in a full-size American truck. But that doesn't mean it's not powerful. It puts out 325 horsepower and 375 pound-foot of torque. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. And Ford, if you gave me line lock, I wouldn't have to do this. You've got it in the Mustang, put it in the pickup truck. Why not? All right, here we go. Boost coming up. Whoa, wheel spin. Not a good launch. Check it out. We broke into the sixes by 100th of a second. 6.99. Even with that wheel spin. You give it to Ford. As much as a lot of people say, well, a 6-cylinder turbo doesn't belong in a pickup truck. From 0 to 60, it is fast. It is really fast. I have to be completely honest here and admit that I'm really blown away by just what a good job Ford did on the redesign of this new F-150. Now that I've had a chance to live with it a little bit, I can tell you that they've touched about every aspect of this truck. The Ford has power folding mirrors and a really cool, neat little feature right here and right here where it actually lights up what's next to you. So if you're camping or if you're at a work site, you can light up an entire work area right around the Ford. It is better in every, I think, measurable and even kind of tactile way. They obviously spent a lot of time and effort in sweating the details. And I'll tell you, you can tell always because the devil is in the details. And what I mean by that is, for instance, this brake controller over here. It's a little out of the way, it's a little hidden, but they've made the little knobs bigger, and there's a little cutout for my index finger. It's little thoughtful touches like that that shows you that they really went deep into making sure that this truck was something that was better. Ford also took a page out of the Ram playbook and made this tailgate lockable, and check this out. How cool is that? Not only can you use the fob to lock the truck, but you can use it to unlock and open the tailgate. And perhaps the most thoughtful feature of all, down here, there's a little button that turns on the tailgate lights, because what a pain in the butt to have to always run into the truck to turn the light on when you're in the back unloading stuff. Yeah, they really did think of the way that these trucks are being used. Now, I don't want to come off sounding like a Ford commercial because obviously there are issues with it. I'm having a hard time finding things that I dislike about it. But the exhaust note, or lack thereof, is certainly one of them. Sure, you can talk about the fact that maybe the styling of the Atlas, which was the concept for this truck, was much better, much nicer, much more butch, and this is a toned down version of that. But of course, that's always the case with concept trucks or cars. The real thing is never as good. But now that I'm driving it, there's just a sense of quality. It feels like it's made out of one piece of aluminum. The driving experience is much more buttoned down, much more dampened, much more, well, car-like in a lot of ways. And that's really where the trend is going. The trucks nowadays are more like cars. But unlike, let's say, the Chevy Colorado, which feels completely like a small crossover, if you don't look in the back, you can't tell that you're actually in a truck. This still retains that truck experience. You still sit up high, you still feel like you own the road, and you still feel like there's a lot of capability built into this. Both of these trucks have very thoughtful features that you can use in everyday life. For instance, the Ram has these really handy towing mirrors. How cool is it that Ram put a diesel engine in a light-duty truck? And then, to make it even better, the cherry on the cake, so to speak, they stuck an 8-speed transmission to give you the most fuel-efficient pickup truck that can tow, that can haul, that can seat 5 people comfortably. That just blows my mind. It just blows my mind, literally. I remember when the fuel crisis hit, and back then there were these big behemoth Cadillacs and Lincolns and LTDs roaming the world that barely got 15 miles to the gallon. You have to be impressed by that, no matter if you're a Chevy guy or if you're a Ford guy or if you're a Ram guy. Of course, the most significant difference is that, well, I'll show you. This TFL magnetic sticker happily sticks to the Ram because it's made of good old American steel. Now, as these two sit, there is, get this, a 900-pound difference between them. In fact, a 925-pound difference. Normally it's about 700 pounds because the Ford F-150, this jet, is made out of aluminum, as you can tell. Compared to the F-150, when I get into this truck, I start to wonder where all that 50,000 as-tested-ish MSRP went. I've got cloth seats. I've got a manual non-electric chair on the passenger side. And I have an interior that is starting to look, at least compared to the new F-150, a little dated. Yes, I've said it, a little dated. The F-150 has taken the bar and raised it up. They've taken it to the next level, and at this point, at least on the inside, Ram is playing a little bit of catch-up. Not that there's anything wrong with the interior. Everything is functional, everything is elegant, everything is, for the most part, soft. And what I mean by functional, I love, for instance, the towing mirrors that turn up. I love the fact that there's an integrated brake controller that comes right to hand. I love the big switch gear, so if you're wearing gloves, which you often are in a pickup because these things get used around the country in northern climates, I love that everything is easily laid out. All right, so what's missing in these two classic American pickups? Of course, the answer is a V8. But whether you go for a petroleum turbocharged engine or a diesel turbocharged engine, the fact is that today we've got a great number of different powertrain choices in this segment. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the near future we're going to be reviewing hybrid trucks. So get over the fact that these don't have V8s, because you can get them in a V8. Of course, the real test is when the rubber meets the road, and that means towing. And you can bet we're going to take both of these up the Ike Gauntlet in the future. So, as always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Truck. Remember, check out tfltruck.com to get all the numbers on both of these trucks, and I will see you going up the Ike Gauntlet. Ciao! And no, I have not forgotten about the hybrid trucks that GM built a few years ago, but let's face it, those were just mild hybrids, and it wasn't really a truck that had a serious electric powertrain. I bet in the future that is coming.